Over here at Sales Maven, we celebrate Christmas in July. And in the spirit of giving back, I have a gift for you. It is 1 month access into the Sales Maven Society. That's my group coaching program. And your 1 month access is going to include live coaching calls with me. It's going to include access to my training center. And that's where all of my sales courses are housed. You're going to also get access to an amazing Facebook group where you can interact with other members as well as ask questions. So this truly is 100% a gift. And that means to take advantage of it, to claim your gift. All I'm going to ask you to do is give me your name so I know who you are and your email address so we can email you the instructions on how to get into the course. And I'm not going to ask you for a credit card. I'm not going to ask you to cancel. This truly is an Xmas in July gift. So to claim your gift, go to yoursalesmaven.com/Xmas22. This offer is only available for a couple days, like all celebrations. It's here and gone. So go and claim it right now. We would love to see you in the group. Thank you so much.
Do sales conversations make you feel awkward or pushy? It's time to ditch the outdated salesy strategies. Your guide, Nikki Roush, will show you how to combine kindness with selling skills to meet your prospects where they are, and in the process, how to up-level your influence and income. Learn how to earn business easily and effortlessly. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversations. Today's episode is an on-air coaching call with one of our very own Sales Maven Society members. It's Christina Wallitsch is here with us today. Welcome, friend.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to have this time with you, and I'm excited to dig into the topic. But before we do, tell everybody a little bit about you and your business.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Wallitsch. I own SB Interior Design. It's a boutique interior design studio based in Easton, Pennsylvania. And my studio supports small business owners, executives, and contractors in their renovation projects. We take the renovation project from the planning stage all the way to the implementation and owner representation. So that's basically my client base. And we serve not only the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I do have out-of-state clients as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the typical things that you're doing design on? Is it the whole house? Tell me more about that.
Oh, sure. So I have two components to my business. One is residential. So a lot of business owners hire me to do their homes, but then it sort of translates back into helping them with their commercial projects, whether they have properties or their own offices. I do commercial spaces as well. Okay. So primarily, I help do the onboarding and connect them with contractors that would fit their project needs and kind of help them through the process of renovations. Because, I mean, like the average homeowner and business person that has never done a full renovation, I typically do full home renovations, kitchens and bathrooms, additions, and also like remodeling for retail spaces and office spaces. So those are the primary projects.
Okay, perfect. So is there something like one particular area of commercial that you enjoy the most?
I liked doing light office commercial spaces, lobbies, reception areas, because you can really brand the space for a business through the front-facing, the client-facing side of the spaces. So that's been very interesting, and I have been working like with design builders. So I'm more involved than the typical designer, just decorating. There's a lot of technical aspects to it because my degree is not only interior design, it's in architecture. So I have a great skill set to kind of like help them navigate construction and do like owner representation to kind of help them through collaborating with the contractor, making sure things are going smoothly. So that I love about the commercial side. I do. I think that's a fun part. I haven't done restaurants yet, although I'm very excited to try. So that's always a cool project I'd love to dive into. But I do primarily like small office spaces, like for different types of like attorneys' offices, insurance companies, that kind of thing. So,
yeah. Well, and you do have this really unique skill set with the architecture and the interior design. And I know from some of the conversations we have, I feel like you bring a very technical level, like a skill set level to the people that you're working with. And I know your clients love that about you and truly, value having those expertise. So it's been fun to watch you grow. And the one thing I don't know if you said this, how long have you been in business now? You've been doing this for quite some time, but I also know that you've transitioned too with,
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So I started the studio in 2018 as a side hustle. I guess to be perfectly honest, I was out of architecture for a very long time because I was raising my kids, and maybe people can relate to this, that I was trying to I was missing it. So I decided, I said, let me give it a try. So I started it because everybody said my skill set was obsolete because I have been out of it for so long. And I said, that's not true at all. I feel like I have never lost a beat. And so I made my own way and decided I'm going to give it a go. And I opened it with a client before I even officially opened my studio. So I had my first client and I was kind of scrambling at first, and I'm thinking, so through the 4 years, I have really, especially this year, I was doing it as a side hustle. And I finally pulled the trigger and quit my corporate job, which I was so happy. I sleep so well at night. I love what I do every day. It doesn't feel like work to me. So, and it has grown exponentially. And you were right. When we had our strategy session back in the fall, I said to myself, oh goodness, I was like, how am I going to keep the client momentum going? And I attribute it to doing the coaching with you and the strategy sessions and being in the group. Like it has made my business explode, really.
Thank you. And you have made your business explode. Like I knew when we first had this conversation and you were saying, you were sharing with me how many hours you were working because you had this other job, you were doing this as a side hustle. And I was like, okay, well, the amount of hours that you're putting into your side hustle is a full-time job. Like you already had this client roster built up and you had people that were kind of scrambling to want to work with you. And you were like, I have to put them on the, kind of wait list to even, you had really built this, you're saying side hustle, but I think you're not giving yourself quite the amount of credit that you deserve because you had built this successful business. I was so impressed and so excited when you finally said, okay, I'm going all in and this is it. And look what's happened. Like your business has just grown so much. It's so exciting.
Well, thank you. It's been a hard road, but I really think that this past year I made, like we were talking in the group about relationships and I really value that. So I kind of was really working hard in 2021 to try to build my relationships with people in the trade, my industry, trying to connect with people outside of my comfort zone and just networking. And that really, it has been wonderful.
That's amazing. Yeah. Building those relationships, they really, really matter. Okay. So how can I serve you today? What would be a good use of this time for us to talk about? Okay.
Sure. Well, actually, when I posted in the Facebook group, I said, how do we ask for testimonials? And I know that was part of the training, but I really asked because I had two reasons. I had wanted to kind of weave that in for clients that don't know me, how how to get more testimonials
Mm-hmm.
so they can see or get a snapshot of how to work with me. The second part is, what am I doing correctly in terms of serving the client experience, and what processes that are working in my business now that are allowing a really high level, high touch, done for you service. And so people in, like yourself, are asking, well, why didn't you just ask? And I was afraid. I was a little hesitant. So that day I called one of my longest term clients and said, hey, would we like to chat about this? And she gave me so much information. And when you're in the weeds, like doing the day-to-day stuff, because I was a solopreneur and kind of expanding, and I'm just trying to get through my business and try to serve the clients, and not even thinking, what am I really doing right that's having people come back to me? And how can I serve new clients that don't know me? And that's where it led to the question, how to ask for, testimonials. And my question, I guess, is, I know like I'm big on the Google because I have a lot of organic search through Google.
Yeah.
And I know your team were talking about, different other alternative ways. And maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit for the audience of how to get not just written testimonials, but something else that might be interesting to kind of weave into getting a sense of how people work, especially for my business. I think I need that extra.
Yeah. So I think some of this has to do with, it's really important that you kind of lead the testimonial, and you want to think about the questions that you're asking. So asking somebody to just write you a testimonial it's fine. But I find that a lot of times people get in this mode of like, well, now I don't know what to write. I don't know what to say. So then what you get is they're like, yeah, Christina's good. We like her. We'd recommend her. And then you're like, well, that's not a very strong testimonial, right? So I do think asking really specific questions that help people start to answer questions. And then you can take their answers and you can craft it in a testimonial form, send it back to them and get approval. And or now, I think one of the things that's really underutilized is asking people if they would do a video testimonial.
Okay.
Because I know we were talking about this in the group with somebody else the other day, that one of the challenges that she was experiencing is that people were wanting references, but her references were like, I don't have time. And it's not that they don't love her, but they're like, I don't have time to keep getting on the calls with these people who want a reference from me. So I was like, record a video testimonial of them, and then you can send those. And I think having video testimonials right now are really powerful. I say that, and I think I have like 2 because I forget to ask for them as well. But if you can kind of lead the witness a little bit and give them some questions to answer. So some of the questions that I was like, is like, let me think about this now. Ask them, what was the biggest struggle that caused you to reach out to work with me? What were you most surprised as a result of our work together? And you might even say surprised and delighted. Like what surprised and delighted you about our work together? Because that's going to give you like, hopefully something better than she's really great. Because she's really great it's kind of a throwaway line, right? There's no meat to that. So it would be like, well, what really surprised and delighted me about our work together, Christina, was that you delivered not only, in a timely fashion, but that you gave us some options that we would have never thought of on our own, right? Like that is a real testimonial right there. Now you've got some meat to work with. And then I always like to ask, the other question I like to ask is, how would you describe my services or my work to your best friend? Because then it gets pretty conversational in the way that they start to talk about what you do. So these are some of the questions that I think are important to ask. And then you can ask them like, would you put this in a video testimonial? And then you can have these on your site. You can have links, like links back. I would put maybe blips of them or like 1 or 2 sentence lines of them in your proposals that you send, at the back of your proposal of like, here's some of the things that clients say about working with me, things like that.
Oh, that's a great idea. I never thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, I want you to work this into all areas of your business because we never know when we're talking to a prospective client what their motivators are. And there are some people that are really internally referenced. That means they really only care about how does this impact me? And that's not a judgment, by the way, for people who are internally referenced. It's not a judgment. It's just that they trust their own judgment more than anybody else's. Like their opinions, their decisions mean more to them. Those are internally referenced people. And people who are externally referenced are the people who want to know that they're making a good decision. And one of the ways that they'll know they're making a good decision is because other people will be able to validate that for them. So this is why testimonials are super important. And by the way, what I'm talking about now is internally and externally referenced. It's a spectrum. So people fall in different spots on the spectrum depending on its context specific. So in some areas of your life, you might be like, I don't care what anybody thinks about this. I know what I think about this and I'm rock solid in my opinion or about my decision. Whereas in other areas of our life, we might be like, I want to see what other people have experienced before I say yes to doing something. And that's what you need your testimonials for, is for those people who are like, I want to know what people have to say about working with her, because most of us have made bad hiring decisions where we're like, I'm just going to trust my gut here. And then you get in and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have looked at this person's, like, what did people have to say about them? Oh, they have nothing nice to say. There's no testimonials here. Okay. That should have been a indicator for me that maybe I should have kept looking. Right.
Yeah. I think the thing that I know life is busy, and it's the very last thing that anybody wants to do is to write a testimonial, because life is busy, work, kids, everything gets in the way. And, I reached out, but I don't want to be pesky about it, So, I've had casual conversations that I should probably, like the video testimonial, I really, really should do that. And I don't think of it. Sometimes I'm in the moment and I'm asking them and I'm trying to I'm a listener. So I will listen to them and really absorb what they're saying to me so that I can kind of, take in and then act on it, somehow my business. And so it eludes me sometimes. I'm like, oh, shoot, I probably should have taken that video or asked permission to do that. The other thing is, I know that a lot of people that come to me organically rely heavily on Google in my area specifically. So that is a little bit of a challenge right now to get clients to kind of respond. And I usually try to get them right at the end of the project, right when we're, it's fresh in their minds. And, I ask permission, would you be opening to share your experience about working with SB Interior Design? So it's been slow going, and eventually people do get back to me. I've had some little hiccups along the way with Google, but we won't get into that right now. But is there other avenues to other than the website and Google, to kind of bring these testimonials throughout all the platforms, or what would be the best use of placing the testimonials?
Yeah. So again, you want to put some testimonials in the back of your proposals. I would say those are places. If you're going to create any type of marketing collateral, you want to put some testimonials in there. And obviously, I think it's, you can have a page on your website that's like a testimonial page, but realistically, you need to be peppering them throughout almost every page on the website should probably have something, I think. And then also, don't forget about LinkedIn and asking people to write recommendations. So sometimes if someone will give me a testimonial, I'll ask them, would you be willing to post this on LinkedIn as well? Or they'll post it on LinkedIn first, and then I can copy and use it, in my marketing other places. So, whatever is the easiest for them is what I would ask. And I just want to comment on this because I think sometimes we think we shouldn't ask for a testimonial until the project is complete. And I don't agree with that. If somebody is really loving their experience with you and they're super happy about something that you've done, and they're, I call it pouring love. Like they're pouring love on you. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. You have just been such a joy to work with, whatever that is. You can ask in that moment. Those are actually the best times to ask, like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Is there any chance you'd be willing to, like, could I just take a minute or two with you right now and hit record? And would you be willing to share your experience? And I'll, with your permission, I'll use this in my marketing. And if they'll do it, like do it in the moment, because that's when it's the easiest for them versus leaving a meeting and then having to send them some type of an email or some type of a message and asking them to then go click on a link and do something else. It creates a lot more work for the other person. And anytime you create work for the other person, the chance of them actually doing it is diminished significantly, right? Like every step they have to take, it's like one less chance they're actually going to do it. So don't just wait until the end of the project. If you feel like you're getting some really good feedback from people, you can capture that. And it may not be a complete testimonial, but you can use that sentence, right? Like maybe they just say one sentence to you, and you could use just that one sentence somewhere. You can use it on social media, for instance. One of the things I like to do on social media is ask people, like, what's one of the nicest things people have said to you this week? And then you let other people post theirs and you go, here's what somebody said to me. You could just take that one sentence that they said and put that on social media too. And you can do that on any platform that you're on.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think I've been focusing more on LinkedIn right now.
Okay.
I know like Instagram's really big for visuals, but I guess it really depends on the clients that you're trying to reach out to.
And with you,
mine's are on the Yeah. So that's a really good point. I didn't even think to put any of that on LinkedIn. So I'm still trying to figure out like the best way to kind of utilize it. And I've been doing more connections on that. But definitely. I'm definitely going to incorporate that into the LinkedIn platform as well as my web.
You could even put a really short, again, it could be a sentence or two, testimonial in your reach outs. Because I know you've been doing some reach outs, some business development. You could put that, you could say, here's just an example of what clients have to say when working with me. And you could just have this little snippet be right in the body of that message.
That's a great idea. That's so easy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no reason not to. You don't want to write you don't want to have 4 testimonials that are each a paragraph, because then that's going to make the message too long. But it's okay to just have a sentence or 2 or 3, even depending on, how long-winded the sentences are. But yeah, use them. Now, I feel like maybe did you have another question about this that you wanted to talk about?
Well, this is a tricky one, and I don't know if it can be solved, but it was more like I have a few clients that are very private, and they've hired me again and again over the past few years, doing various projects for them. And I kind of tagging along with what you were saying. I said, well, would you be willing to share your experience? And she's like, oh, I will tell you, we can have this great conversation, but I really don't want to announce it or use it in a way to be marketed. But I mean, this client refers me to multiple people all the time. And she's my best, she's my ideal client. And I'm thinking, oh, this is fantastic. I want more like her. But I feel how can that's a hard one, because how can I weave the testimonial without her publishing it, or, I can't publish her, the final photographs of the space. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. But I think I'm trying to figure out a craftier way to kind of bring that to light, saying, hey, this is a repeat client that has referred me. And I was, I really value their opinion.
Okay. So I have a couple suggestions. We'll see if you like any of them. And they need, obviously this is a really important client and we want to keep her really happy because she's coming back to you time and again, and she's referring people to you. So you don't want to do anything that makes her feel pinched in any way, or like you're not respecting her opinion. If you felt comfortable, you might ask her, would you feel more comfortable offering a testimonial if your name wasn't used? If I just said commercial client, or put her initials, or, you could ask her if you could maybe just qualify the type of client that she is, but you're not actually calling out her name. She might be more comfortable with that. That's one way you could use it. The other thing is, I don't know about this, but I would encourage you to think about, and this might be something that's a no-no, I'm not sure, so you have to tell me. But I kind of want you to have written into your contract that you have the right to use before and after pictures. And again, give the client the right to opt out of having their name attached to them. Mm-hmm. But if you are going to do, or showing kind of design, like maybe if you have your drawings, right? And then, so that's a picture, and then here's the deliverable. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like that should be a part of your contract. Yeah. And you might, what? Tell me.
Actually it is.
It is.
I probably should enforce it, but I don't. I'm very nice about things. So I have anonymity. I just say a general area, location, residential client. I do that for those. And I tell them that some people are completely fine with that. And other times they're like, I don't want it published. I don't want it anywhere. So it's been tough, but that's okay. I think you had some really good points about like the process and drawings and things that I can offer just anonymously to show the process and how it's coming along. I think that's probably a smart move.
Yeah. And, the other thing that I was thinking is you could offer that it's in the contract that there's some type of an incentive for them to allow you to use it. And should they choose to check this box that they don't want them used, then it adds back in a fee, right? It's like we waive this fee, or maybe you ask them to check the box. You'll waive this fee when they give permission to use the photos. And if they choose not to use the photos, then that's the price. So you offer some incentive for them to allow you to use the photos. Mm-hmm. Now, you may not need to do that because, like you said, it's in your contract anyway. And there's ways that you can deliver it so that, people aren't, we don't want people to be upset with us, but at the same time, you need to be able to use and publish your work. And I think about this so I have a lot of clients that are photographers, and I know that that's part of they own those photos, that's their work. And this is your work as well. So I just want you to stand in that place of you can be nice and you can be kind, and you need to have examples to show the body of your work. And you want to be able to document your work as well. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
So maybe think about that. And then the other thing that I want to say about the testimonial where the person doesn't necessarily want to use their name, you can always share in the form of a story something that somebody said to you without giving who it was. It's nice when you can say who it was, but you can also say, one of my residential clients, this was their challenge, and here's what she just said the other day in our meeting. You can share that, and you can share that on social media too in the form of a story without revealing who it is. So when you say, this is what a client said to me recently, people, a lot of times, the way our brains work is we're not going oh, look at Christina, she's bragging about herself. We go, oh, this is what Christina's clients say. it's almost, it raises your credibility when you give credit to who has said something instead of saying like, here's what I do. Here's why I'm a big deal. It's like, here's what clients experience when they work with me. And here's what a client just said recently about the work we did together. That is more credible than you just saying like, hey, look, I'm an amazing interior designer, which you are. Right. But being able to say that a client just said this was their experience holds more weight.
I love that.
Okay.
Never thought of that too. And it seems like it's probably the most obvious solution to my dilemma. I think getting that testimonial in that way and just kind of, blend it into the story. I didn't even think of that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, friend. Well, this was fun. And I'm excited for you to start incorporating more testimonials into your business, more stories into your business, sharing more on LinkedIn about the testimonials and the things, and asking people to, write recommendations on LinkedIn, like all these things that you can do to really amplify the work that you're doing so that more people will be drawn to wanting to work with you. Which at some point you're going to have to really raise your prices or decide you're going to bring on a team because I know you're busy.
Yes. I'm in the process of, I'm trying to add staff to kind of alleviate so I can keep going with, I think anybody that's a solopreneur and jumping into, hiring and outsourcing, it's been a challenge because I just don't want to bring on anyone. No. So it may take a while, but I will get there.
Yeah, you will.
So thank you.
All right. So as we wrap up, I always have two questions I like to ask at the end, which is the first one is, what's one benefit you've received from being in the Sales Maven Society?
Oh, there's a lot. I was a little, I heard you on Wingnut Social, actually, and I'll give this to Darla Powell. Yes, I heard you back in the summertime. I forget which episode it was. And the way you were delivering it was so approachable and so warm. I was like, oh, I need her because I really needed to kind of hone in on why I wasn't converting as many. Mm-hmm. And then I joined in September to the Sales Maven Society. And your interactions with the members are phenomenal. Like if somebody has a problem, like within literally, I feel like sometimes it's like 5-10 minutes. And how busy you are, you always take time to answer and craft. I don't know how you do it, but it
never feel like I do it in 5 or 10 minutes, but thank you for that.
I feel like it is, but it really, I'm sure, but I think, and also just the response rate and helping us craft like emails for sticky situations or helping us grow our clients or have a strategy. And I've had a couple strategy sessions with you. Mm-hmm. Those were invaluable. Just with just the one-on-one, you feel like it's, even though it's in a group, it's a very personal connection that you have with the members. And I think that speaks volumes.
Thank you so much. I love having you in the group. You're such a great contributor and participator, and you're loved in the group. I love that people love on you. And I know you made some good connections with people in the group. So it's been fun. Yeah. All right. So the last question is, how can people get a hold of you?
Sure. So if you're in Pennsylvania, you can reach out to me. I'm in the Eastern Pennsylvania, but I do travel. So my website is SB Interior Design, LLC.com. It's a long one. But you can also reach me through messaging at LinkedIn at LinkedIn and /SB Interior Design Easton. So those are the two ways that I'm very active.
Perfect. And those will be in show notes. So if you would like to connect with Christina, you have a commercial or residential spot and you need some support, please reach out to her. Her clients really do love the heck out of her. So she's doing good work. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And hey, if you haven't joined the Sales Maven Society yet, and you would like to, you can do that now by going to You can do that now by going to salesmavensociety.com. And if you enter the coupon code 47trial, it'll take $100 off your first month of membership. We'd love to have you come hang out with us. We have amazing members, as you get to hear on the podcast. Christina, thank you so much for being here, friend. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.